A Nation Divided, The American Civil War. Written by Ken Burns from the Civil War documentary, The American Civil War, 1861 to 1865. Brother fought brother, a nation tore itself apart. It was a conflict born from deep divisions, slavery, states' rights, and economic disparities. This war tested the very soul of America, leaving an unforgettable mark on its history and identity. Seeds of discord, slavery, and the issue of states' rights. At the heart of the conflict was the institution of slavery. The southern states, heavily reliant on enslaved labor for their agricultural economy, fiercely defended their right to own slaves. They saw any attempt to restrict slavery as a direct attack on their way of life and their autonomy within the Union. The northern states, increasingly industrialized and morally opposed to slavery, pushed for its abolition. They viewed it as a barbaric practice that contradicted the very principles of freedom and equality upon which the nation was founded. This fundamental difference in values created a chasm between North and South. Adding fuel to the fire was the question of states' rights. The South believed strongly in the sovereignty of individual states and their right to govern themselves with minimal interference from the federal government. They argued that the federal government was overstepping its bounds by attempting to dictate policy on issues like slavery. The match that ignited the Blaze Key events leading to war. Tensions escalated for decades. Compromise after compromise failed to bridge the divide. The election of Abraham Lincoln in 1860 proved to be the breaking point. Lincoln, a Republican who campaigned on a platform of preventing the expansion of slavery, was seen as a threat by the South. His victory, without a single Southern state's electoral vote, convinced Southern leaders that their interests were no longer represented within the Union. South Carolina seceded from the Union in December 1860, followed by 6 other Southern states in the following months. The Confederacy was formed in February 1861, with Jefferson Davis as its president. The war began in April 1861 when Confederate forces attacked Fort Sumter in South Carolina, a federal outpost in Charleston Harbor. This act of aggression marked the beginning of the bloodiest conflict in American history. Battlegrounds of a Nation. Gettysburg and the Fight for Freedom. The Battle of Gettysburg, fought in July 1863, stands as a turning point in the Civil War. This 3-day battle, the deadliest of the war, took place in a small town in Pennsylvania. The Confederate Army, led by General Robert E. Lee, was on the offensive, hoping to deliver a decisive blow to the Union forces and sway the war in their favor. The Union Army of the Potomac, under the command of General George Meade, met the Confederate advance with fierce resistance. The fighting was brutal and unrelenting, with heavy casualties on both sides. On the 3rd day of the battle, Lee ordered a massive assault on the Union center at Cemetery Ridge, known as Pickett's Charge. The charge, though courageous, proved to be a disastrous mistake. Confederate forces were mowed down by Union artillery and rifle fire, suffering devastating losses. Lee's army, battered and broken, was forced to retreat back to Virginia. Gettysburg marked the Confederacy's last major offensive in the North and is considered a turning point in the war. The Battle of Antietam, fought in September of 1862, was another pivotal moment in the war. It was the bloodiest single-day battle in American history, with over 22,000 casualties. The battle ended in a tactical draw, but it had significant strategic implications. Lee's invasion of Maryland, hoping to gain support for the Confederacy in the border state, was halted. The close Union victory also gave Lincoln the opportunity he had been waiting for to issue the Emancipation Proclamation. This document, issued on January 1, 1863, declared that all enslaved people in Confederate-held territory were to be freed. The First Battle of Bull Run, fought in July of 1861, was the first major land battle of the Civil War. It was a sobering experience for both sides, proving that the war would be far longer and bloodier than initially anticipated. The Confederate victory, led by General Thomas Stonewall Jackson, boosted Southern morale early in the war. Leaders of a divided nation: Lincoln, Grant, and Lee. The Civil War produced a cast of remarkable leaders. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, guided the nation through its darkest hour. His unwavering commitment to preserving the Union, coupled with his eloquence and compassion, made him one of the most revered figures in American history. Ulysses S. Grant, a determined and resourceful general, rose to command the Union Army. His relentless pursuit of victory, exemplified by his Vicksburg campaign and his Overland campaign against Lee, proved crucial in securing Union victory. Robert E. Lee, a brilliant strategist and tactician, commanded the Confederate Army of Northern Virginia. Despite fighting for a cause ultimately defeated, Lee's military prowess and his unwavering dedication to his men earned him respect and admiration from both sides. The price of freedom, outcomes, and the long road to healing. After 4 long years of bloodshed and sacrifice, the Civil War finally came to an end in April 1865. The Confederacy, battered and exhausted, surrendered to the Union. The war left an indelible scar on the nation, with an estimated 620,000 to 750,000 soldiers dead and countless others wounded. The war's outcome had profound consequences. Slavery was abolished in the United States, ending a centuries-old institution. The Union was preserved, ensuring that the nation would remain whole. However, the process of healing and reconciliation would prove to be a long and arduous journey. The South lay in ruins, its economy shattered and its social fabric torn. Reconstruction, the period following the war, aimed to rebuild the South and integrate formerly enslaved people into society. However, this process was fraught with challenges, including resistance from white Southerners and the rise of Jim Crow laws that perpetuated racial segregation and discrimination. Legacies of the Civil War, shaping modern America. The Civil War had a profound and lasting impact on the United States. It reshaped the nation's identity, redefined its values, and laid the groundwork for the modern American Republic. The war settled the question of slavery and reaffirmed the supremacy of the federal government over states' rights. It also led to significant social and political changes. The passage of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution abolished slavery, guaranteed equal protection under the law, and granted African American men the right to vote. These amendments represented a major step forward in the fight for civil rights. The Civil War also had a significant impact on American culture. It inspired countless works of art, literature, and music, from the powerful photography of Matthew Brady to the poignant words of Walt Whitman and Emily Dickinson. The war's legacy continues to be debated and analyzed, shaping our understanding of the past and influencing our present. Remembering the past, shaping the future. Lessons from the Civil War. The American Civil War serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of democracy and the devastating consequences of division and intolerance. It teaches us the importance of dialogue, compromise, and upholding the principles of equality and justice for all. As we commemorate the sacrifices made during this pivotal period in American history, let us remember the lessons learned and strive to create a more just and equitable society for all. The Civil War, though a tragic chapter in our past, can serve as a catalyst for positive change and a reminder of the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome adversity and build a better future.